Good evening and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers, CACRAO, and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A box or button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions that you can benefit from that are offered through this CACRAO StriveScan partnership. So be sure to check out the full schedule on the CACRAO website, CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within a week at the same website. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters so that they can begin their session.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bianca Simboli. I'm one of the admission counselors at Lynn University, and we're so glad that you're joining us tonight. I am joined by three of my colleagues, Keith, Brian, and Sam from Eckerd, Florida Southern, and Florida Tech. So we have a lot of information to share with you tonight, but particularly we want to talk to you about the advantages of studying at premier independent universities in Florida. So we all are kind of in different locations, and we'll share that with you as we move through the presentation. Telling you a little bit about our areas as well as our individual institutions. Just as a reminder to put your camera in speaker view so you can see who's talking, as there are 4 of us this evening. And be sure to send us questions throughout the session. We're here to answer them, so we'll either answer them live or we'll respond individually to you. But you can do that throughout the session, and you have a Q&A button at the bottom. Just to introduce myself a little bit further, like I said, I'm one of the admission counselors at Lynn. I work with students in North Florida, as well as parts of the Midwest and across the country. I also work with transfer students. A brief fact about me, I was a first-generation college student, so part of why I went into admissions is to help students kind of navigate the process. So I'm going to turn it over to Keith now to introduce himself.
Hi, my name's Keith. I'm an admissions counselor here at Florida Tech. I covered the Carolinas up to Delaware, and I've been a counselor here for 10 years. If you have any questions for me or Florida Tech, feel free to put it in the question Q&A box below, and I'll turn it over to Brian at Florida Southern.
Awesome, thank you, Keith. Yeah, my name is Brian Emery. I'm a senior admissions counselor. I've worked in the office for about 5 years now, and I'm also a graduate of Florida Southern. So I've seen it both from the student perspective as well as working as a staff member. And obviously you can see our contact information is up on the screen. And now I'll let Sam introduce himself.
Thanks, Brian. So I'm Sam Bannon. I'm an admission counselor at Eckerd. I also am a graduate of Eckerd. I think I'm the freshest admission counselor here because I actually just graduated this past May, mid-pandemic. So if you got any questions about student life in terms of at Eckerd or in general, let me know. And so now we're going to move on to talking about why we are talking about studying at independent colleges in Florida. So firstly, we offer really high quality education. Of course, you're coming to college for an education, and our independent schools here in Florida are among the nation's top performers. So as Bianca mentioned, we range in size and location, so each campus has its own unique feel. And one of the highlights that we like to share with everyone is that students at our schools benefit from having a really high level of engagement and personal connection with the professors. So our schools have almost no graduate students teaching courses, or TAs, which ensures that you're going to be taught by experts and these PhD professors in that field. So because of those small class sizes, your professors really get to know who you are, and they'll offer mentorship in and out of the classroom. So having these kinds of relationships can provide you with networking opportunities and also research opportunities on and off campus. Some students end up receiving stipends or having research projects funded so that you can have graduate or undergraduate level research published in academic journals by the time you graduate. And at the same time, we also take pride in the fact that we have a really global focus for our education. So each of our institutions has really strong study abroad opportunities, and we're able to really allow you to have that global mindset as a student and as a citizen. So moving on, we want to let you guys know that being in Florida is also a big highlight of the fact that we're talking to you today. So studying at our schools means you have easy access to the really wide variety of things and industries that Florida offers. We're ranked 5th in the nation as a state for high-tech employment, and we also have 15 Fortune 500 companies. Students at all of our institutions are able to pursue internships and careers in all different kinds of fields like aerospace or financial and health professional services. So from biological science research, education, health professions like physical therapy, computer science, there's something for everyone at our schools. And again, that's kind of where we highlight the fact that we have quite a variety among all of us. So our high quality academics and internship opportunities work to help you prepare for what's coming after graduation, which ultimately is everyone's goal. And whether that's landing your dream job or getting accepted into a graduate program, we have it all. And now I'm going to turn it over to Brian.
Sorry about that. There we go. So a little about affordability. Finances are certainly a big aspect when it comes to the college search process. So we are proud that a combined 92% of our students are gainfully employed, serving in the military, or continuing their education at the graduate, professional, or doctoral level within 1 year of graduation. So we're very focused on outcomes and getting our students well prepared for postgraduate life. As independent schools in the state of Florida, we are dedicated to making our education affordable for our students. While affordability may not always be the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the words independent school, all of our schools offer scholarships and financial aid opportunities that help make affordability a reality for you and your family. Additionally, the vast majority of our graduates earn their bachelor's degree in 4 years or less, which allows you to spend less on your education. In fact, recent data shows that students nationwide are graduating from college in 5 to 6 years on average. This can end up costing you up to 40% more on your education, and that's not a financial burden that we want to put on our students. So much so that we have awarded over $200 million in scholarships and grants combined last year alone. Next, please. And so now, of course, why study in Florida? There are multiple reasons. Obviously, you get a quality education. There are strong employment opportunities throughout the state. Affordability for your degrees, as I just talked about with the affordability aspect. Perfect year-round climate. Weather is certainly never a difficult sell for Florida. And that's just a few of the reasons. So on the climate, it certainly makes Florida a great place to learn, live, and play. From Disney and Universal to the nation's top beaches. There really is a ton to explore here in Florida. Our climate also is perfect for year-round championship-winning athletics. All of our schools compete in NCAA Division II, the Sunshine State Conference, which is considered among the most competitive Division II conferences in the country. So why should you study at the independent universities in Florida? Again, there's lots of reasons, but let's take the next step of hearing from each of the individual schools and why each of the schools themselves are a good place to learn.
All right, thanks, Brian. So as Brian mentioned, you know, the weather here in Florida and the landscape is never a hard sell. Here you can see Eckert's campus. We're surrounded on 3 sides by water. There's one way in and one way out on campus. So, you know, we like to say that our biggest security threat is pirates, which we haven't had to deal with yet. So I'm going to walk you guys through just a handful of things that we think set Eckerd apart and make us a really valuable part of the independent universities in Florida. And first, I'm just going to walk you through some of our demographics. So Keith, if you could, awesome, thank you. So as you can see, Eckerd students come from all over the place. You have 10% coming from the West, 13 in the Midwest, 12% in the South. So you would have plenty of people in the same boat. Under a quarter of our students come from Florida. And as you can see, people come from all over the world as well. So the average student in the United States travels around 200, maybe 250 miles to college, but the average Eckerd student actually travels over 1,000 miles from home to college. So we like to think that the average Eckerd student is a little bit more adventurous than other university students. And we also just like the fact that everyone's kind of in the same boat when they show up on our campus. Next, Keith, thank you. So another thing that really sets us apart is our academic calendar. Some schools use trimesters or semesters. We have what we call the 4-1-4 academic calendar. This basically means you're taking 4 courses in the fall, 1 course in our mini semester, our winter term in January, and 4 courses in the spring. So the way that we're set up, if you are having 1 major and you take 4 courses every semester, and you also take your 3 required winter terms and also a 4th if you'd like, you will graduate with a bachelor's degree in 4 years. And the cool part about this calendar is that it's actually a little bit different for your first year, which is what I'm going to talk about next, which is called our autumn term. So we have an intensive 3-week orientation at the beginning of every first year experience. So when you're a first year student at Eckerd, you have 3 full weeks on campus before other students show up. So there's RAs and some student leaders, but for the most part, it's exclusively first year students on campus. And as you saw in our demographics, people are from all over the place. So you show up and there's people just from all over the place and you're all in the same boat. So during autumn term, you're introduced to the handful of different things that Eckerd offers in a really kind of smooth entry into this experience. So it's a really good way to get to know the campus, get to know each other, and get to know the academic schedule. So in autumn term, Keith, next please, sorry. So in autumn term, you get to sort of explore all kinds of courses. You're placed in an intensive 3-week course, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Here you can see all of our areas of study. Anything with a star is just what we offer as only a minor, but you can combine all kinds of things. So in autumn term, this course that you're taking, which is an entire semester's worth of credit in 3 weeks, is major non-specific. So as an Eckerd student, you don't need to declare your major until the end of your sophomore year. So while you're a first year student in autumn term, but also in your first year in general, you can look at these majors and minors and really explore what you think you might be interested in, because technically every incoming Eckerd student is undecided. Next, Keith. So Eckerd student life, obviously, like Brian mentioned, our landscape and weather in Florida is really amazing. Student life on Eckerd's campus is really special because we're the pet friendliest campus in the entire United States. You can see my friend's dog Riley there having a great time on our private beach. One of my favorite parts of the Eckerd experience is about a week before our normal commencement, our graduation ceremony, there's actually a pet graduation. So all the pets that have been there for 4 years get their own little tiny graduation caps and little tiny diplomas. And we have all kinds of student involvement on campus. You'll see in the next slide, one of our highlights, one of the gems of campus is our Waterfront Program, which basically allows you to check out kayaks, paddleboards, go wakeboarding, water skiing, 7 days a week, all the time. Your friends and family can come for free. So it's a really great way to sort of take advantage of the landscape that Florida is providing. Down to the nitty gritty here in terms of our application process. We do accept the common application, which I recommend to all the people that I'm responsible for, but the Eckerd application works as well. So of course, we're gonna need your official high school transcript. We're going test optional on our test scores this year, an academic letter of recommendation, and we will actually waive your application fee if you apply before December 1st. We don't offer early decision, just early action. Early action is the non-binding one, so if you apply by November 15th, you are considered early action and you're guaranteed to get your decision by the 15th of December. So again, we are testing out a program where we're doing test optional this year because of COVID, and just in general, our holistic application reading process, we don't feel the need to take a look at all those test scores, but if you do feel that your test scores are a strong part of your profile, then of course, feel free to submit them. Eckerd prides itself on being part of a famous book called Eckerd Colleges That Change Lives. So if you're interested in learning more about Eckerd and also all the other schools in this book, I really recommend picking it up or reading some digital excerpts. So now we're gonna move on, but again, I was a student relatively recently, so if you got any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat.
Awesome, good stuff. So again, I'm Brian. I'm the representative for Florida Southern College. I work with the Carolinas, Tennessee, a couple other states in the Southeast. So just kind of some basic information to start with Florida Southern. We're located in the city of Lakeland, which is almost exactly halfway between Tampa and Orlando. We were founded in 1883, which makes us one of the oldest private colleges in the state of Florida. We have about 3,500 total students among our undergraduate and graduate programs. And our kind of split in terms of Florida and out of state, about 60% of our students are from Florida, and then the other 40% are from the rest of the country. We have just about every state represented, and also about 50 different countries represented from around the world. It's a very diverse student population. Next, please. So here at FSC, we have over 70 different programs of study, as well as 16 pre-professional tracks, such as pre-medicine, pre-law, some of those types of things. Our most popular majors include areas such as business, biology, nursing, music, theater, exercise science, psychology, just among others. Those are just kind of some of the most popular ones. At our core, we are a liberal arts college. So no matter what your major is, you're going to get a very well-rounded degree, but you can also get very deep and very comprehensive within your respective major. Next, please. We have a very strong emphasis on engaged and experiential education. So really what we try to do is we try to make sure that you will be an active participant in your classroom regardless of your major. We really believe in the power of learning by doing and immersing our students in their field as soon as possible. So we're really able to offer this engaged learning experience partly because of our small class sizes. So you can see the average class size is around 18 students. And our student to faculty ratio is 14:1. So our students are really working very closely with the professors and again, really getting that engaged type of environment. All the classes are taught by professors themselves. And we never have our graduate students leading courses. So this, like Sam mentioned earlier, this ensures that you're really learning from experts in your field. Next, please. Part of our engaged learning experience are our 3 guarantees. So we have these 3 guarantees for our students. The first one is study abroad. We guarantee this through our Junior Journey program, which basically is a study abroad trip that you can take during either your junior or senior year. You go with a professor, there's an academic component, you get course credit for this. But the best part about these trips is they are little or no additional cost. So quite literally, some of these trips, you can sign up for it and not pay thousands or hundreds of dollars extra to do it. These trips are offered both internationally as well as domestic. And you can go on different ones. You're not restricted to the trip that your respective major is doing. We also guarantee internships for all of our students, regardless of major. 95% of employers are looking for new hires with some type of experience. So internships really allow you to be a competitive candidate once you enter the job market. Students have the option to do internships locally during the school year, or you can go home for the summertime and do an internship there or somewhere else. We really help you get something that's gonna really fit what you are looking to do. The last guarantee is to graduate in 4 years or less. So we're able to guarantee this because in addition to everything we've already kind of shared, students are also paired with an academic advisor in their field of study as soon as you're on campus. So you meet with your advisor regularly, several times a year. They help you make sure you're staying on track for graduation. We're also very transfer credit friendly. So you may be able to come into college with some college level courses under your belt from dual enrollment, AP, IB, and Cambridge programs. Next, please. So why is all of this important? Well, it translates into post-graduation success. So 1/3 of our students go on to a graduate program and the remaining 2/3 enter the workforce approximately each year. But most importantly, 97% of our students are reporting that they are achieving their post-graduation goals within 1 year of graduating from Florida Southern. So like I talked about earlier, the outcomes is really crucial for all these colleges in Florida. Next, please. So while academics are certainly an important part of your college experience, we also want to talk about student life. We really pride ourselves on being a true campus community. Our students are required to live on campus all 4 years, except for local students near campus. They can live with their families and commute, but we guarantee that you will have housing all 4 years. So we have 16 different housing options, including the on-campus residence halls your first 2 years, as well as apartment complexes off campus for your next 2 years when you're an upperclassman. Next, please. So athletics, mentioned that a little bit earlier, but we have 20 NCAA Division II sports teams on campus, 30 national championships as well, which makes us the 3rd most successful Division II program in the country. Varsity recruiting is very competitive and it is handled by the coaches directly. So if you are interested in athletics, we definitely encourage you to fill out the prospective athlete questionnaire form on our website. We also have lots of opportunities as well at the club level for our club sports teams, as well as the intramural level within the campus community. Next, please. So again, a little more on student life. We have over 100 clubs and organizations, tons of ways to get involved on campus. Again, we really want to make sure that this becomes a home away from home for you, so you really feel a part of the community. Greek life, student government, campus ministry, special interest groups, community service and philanthropy. There really is something for everybody. You're going to find plenty of opportunities to get involved outside the classroom. Next, please. So now that we've shared all about Florida Southern, let's talk a little bit about how to become a Florida Southern student in the application process. So first and foremost, our application is free. We don't charge anything. We have it on our own website. We also accept the Common App as well as the Coalition application. We don't have a preference, whatever is easiest for you. We'll also need your high school transcript, a letter of recommendation, and a personal statement. This year, very similar to Eckerd, like Sam mentioned with them, we have also adopted a test optional policy. So you can either submit test scores if you feel that they're a strong component for your application, or if you do not submit test scores, we'll ask for an additional writing sample. You can send in these materials one at a time as they become available. You don't need to submit them all at once, but you can if you would like. Once we receive all of your documents, you'll get a decision within 2 to 4 weeks. We're on a rolling admissions basis as well. Next, please. And lastly, talking a little bit about financial aid. Again, it's always a big component for a lot of students. So we know that the cost of college can definitely be overwhelming. So every application is automatically considered for merit-based scholarship. We strongly encourage all students as well to file the FAFSA beginning October 1st to be considered for federal, state, and other additional aid. Some departments on campus offer specific scholarships, such as talent-based scholarships for athletics and fine arts. We also accept a lot of outside scholarships from kind of outside sources. So really, this means you can earn and bring in a lot of financial aid from a variety of sources. So that's it for me. We'll head on to the next.
Once again, thanks for joining us. I'm Keith. I'm an admissions counselor here at Florida Tech. We are located in Melbourne, Florida, which is about an hour east-southeast of Orlando, Florida. We were founded in 1958 by physicists at Cape Canaveral, which is now in the NASA Kennedy Space Center, so his employees can go back for continuing education. Roughly, our undergraduates are right around about 3,500, with total about 5,500 grad and undergrad total students here on campus. We're a direct admit school, so when you enter your selected major, you start on day one. As an alumni of the university, we do have small class sizes here. Our faculty to student ratio is 1 to 15. Smallest class I've had is about 8 people in a class. The classes are taught by the professors. The only time you'll see a TA will be in the labs, like math lab, chemistry lab, physics lab, stuff like that. So here at the university, we encourage our students to take advantage of the internships and co-op programs. They're not only provided for additional hands-on experience, but also networking opportunities as well. It's a great way to check out a company that you would want to possibly work at. Don't worry if you don't participate in a co-op program, because everyone here at the university has projects over the years to enhance your skills. Also, as you note at the bottom of the slide, we do have a fast track master's program. For that, it's a 3.3 or higher at the university qualifier for that. For the business program, they have an accelerated business program where they can graduate in 3 years with their Bachelor of Science program. Because we're so focused on research, we do not open those opportunities to only upperclassmen and graduate students. You could start as a freshman if that's something you're interested in on a research project. Students pursuing an engineering majors have a senior design project, which is our capstone project here at Florida Tech. In April, there's a display of all the work, and it's pretty cool to see. And those are just kind of some of the items the students have designed here at the university. Here at the university, just like everyone said, we're members of the Sunshine State Conference. We have 8 varsity sports here at the university. If you're interested in playing any sport, best thing to do is go to our athletics website page, floratechsports.com. You can fill out the questionnaire on there. If you're not interested in sports, we do have theater, music, band, choir, and other activities, Greek life on campus. If it's not that one club or organization you're looking for, it does take 10 students plus a faculty advisor to start something new on our campus. So there's something for everyone. So here's our application process. We are rolling admissions, so there's no application deadline. You could apply up to 1 week before classes start. As you can see, these are the top 3 items or the documents we need. So either our application on the Common App, your high school transcript with your senior class schedule, and then also test scores as well. So this is a brief snapshot of our admitted student profile. As you can see, we are still requiring the ACT or SAT scores. Please keep in mind, we are looking at everyone on an individual basis, and we're looking for the potential for success. For STEM majors, we are looking for 4 years of math and 4 years of science. The basics of the science classes would be chemistry, biology, and physics. On the math side, geometry, algebra 2, trig, math analysis, or pre-calc, they're all the same type of class. If you take a calculus, it's a huge plus, but not required. Here's just a snapshot of a few of the careers that you might be going to after you graduate. Some of these companies are local, L3, Harris Corporation, NASA up the road, Northrop Grumman, they're right locally, Boeing, American Airlines for our pilots. So just to name a few. This is just a brief overview of financial aid. As other counselors have mentioned, I always recommend every student to fill out the free application for federal student aid. That allows our financial aid office to make everyone a full, complete financial aid package. But other things we look out for are First Vex Robotics, Eagle Scouts, Gold Awards, just to name a few. And this is just a quick snapshot of what your financial aid package might include. Like I said, the free application for student aid, you could fill it out October 1st of your senior year, and it's the best way to make sure that you're leaving all the money on the table for you. So, but I'll turn it over from Bianca from Lynn.
Perfect. Thanks so much. So I'm the last to go here. So for those of you that haven't submitted any questions yet, again, please feel free to use the chat box, the Q&A box at the bottom part of your screen, and we'll be sure to answer them right after this. But Lynn University. All right. So I think I'm the furthest south. For those of you that aren't familiar with Boca Raton, we are located about an hour north of Miami, about 30 minutes from Fort Lauderdale. We have 3 major airports in the area, including West Palm Beach. So it's a very accessible town / city for you to get to. I think a lot of people along the East Coast, all the way up to the Northeast, kind of know Boca as a place that their grandparents go to, right, to retire. Pretty cool place to be, but Boca is actually full of students. There's a few different universities in the area, so there's actually about 40,000 college students in Boca alone, including Lynn, FAU, Palm Beach State, and a few others in the local area. So it's a really awesome place to be. We're about 3 miles from the beach. And in addition to that, Boca and the surrounding area is one of the fastest growing metro areas in the US. So for jobs and internship opportunities, Boca is really a great place to be right now. Because there's a lot to do and it's easily accessible. So for us, a lot of our students do take advantage of what is located just off of campus. We allow our students to have cars as freshmen, and there's also some local transportation in the area as well. So it's really easy for students to do internships throughout the entire semester. Move to the next slide. Perfect. So at Lynn, we focus on a personalized, innovative, and global educational experience. So what does that mean for us? You can see here our diversity on campus. This is one of my favorite things about Lynn. We have about 3,000 students in total at Lynn, and they represent 47 different states across the US and 97 different countries across the globe. So it's a really interesting environment. Our students really get a global perspective in the classroom, which is really exciting. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what that looks like, our office and our admission team is actually pretty in line with what our student body looks like as well. About half of our team went to Lynn. So we have people that work in our office from El Salvador, Argentina, South Africa, Rome, Italy. I'm also from New Hampshire, which I think is pretty cool too, but it's a really great mix of people that are at Lynn. In addition to that, we have small class sizes similar to everyone else here. 18:1 is our student to faculty ratio, but you can see classes as small as 10 students. So we really want our students to get to know our faculty members and for them to really help you navigate your educational experience at Lynn. About 35% of our students come from the state of Florida and 20% are about international. So the rest are spread out from across the country, many of them up along the East Coast. So it's a great place to be, and there's a lot of new people to meet. You can go to the next slide. So in terms of innovation, Lynn is a forward-thinking university. We pride ourselves in being flexible and adapting to new generations of students. And one way that we've done this is through our iPad-powered learning program. So all of our students get iPads when they get to campus, and it is built into the curriculum at Lynn. We've been recognized by Apple as an Apple Distinguished School for 4 consecutive years now for our use of technology in the classroom. So we've transitioned from you having to carry textbooks across campus. The majority of your texts are actually going to be downloaded right onto your iPad. And our faculty have actually created a lot of our texts that you'll use within the classroom. So they're interactive. They're meant to engage students and engage conversation in the classroom. So it's a really unique way that we've kind of designed and adjusted our curriculum at Lynn. In addition to that, it's going to save you nearly 90% in textbook savings because you're going to download them for free, and the iPad's included as part of your tuition. So most of our students actually just use that in place of a laptop as well, and they found it really useful. On to the next. One way that we've kind of adjusted and changed things at Lynn is we've developed our 3-year accelerated bachelor's degree program. So this is actually a way to save you nearly a year of tuition because you can do your degree in 3 years. So the majority, you can see all of our majors listed there, and you can actually explore them a little more in depth on our website. But the majority of our majors, everything except our fine arts degrees and our music and education programs, you can do in 4 years. So if you're a biology student, you can do that in 3 years. Any of our aviation programs can be done in 3 years. So it's a really great option. We have about 25% of our students participating in the 3-year accelerated program, including athletes as well. And a lot of them will stay for our master's programs, which can usually be done in 1 year full time. Next. One other thing that's unique to Lynn and kind of how we've adjusted our curriculum as well is we have what's called our dialogue curriculum. So this is our core curriculum. We still fall into that liberal arts space in terms of a college, but the dialogues are really a more applicable study of liberal arts concepts. So for most universities that are liberal arts based, you'll take your traditional English, math, social science, public speaking type of courses. But for us, we have students taking 4 courses in each of these 5 sectors across their entire degree program, in addition to what they're studying in their major. So it's really intended for students to build their critical thinking skills, their presentation skills. You'll be doing that across the entire core. So even in a more science-based course, you're going to be doing presentation. So it's really intended to build as you move through your 4 years at the university. To give you more of an example there, for students who are maybe in more of our art-based courses, we don't want you sitting through calculus if you don't need to do calculus when you graduate. So you may take more of a personal finance course, or for students who are in their business programs, their math courses are going to be based around statistics and statistical methods. So it's a much more applicable study of liberal arts concepts, which is something that our faculty have designed about 10 years ago through a design thinking process. So it's really intended for you to kind of gain those essential skills for when you graduate, regardless of your major. You can go to the next one. Perfect. So in terms of our application process, like everybody else, our application is open. We are a Common App school as well, so you can apply through the Common Application. We also have our own Lynn application on our website, so it's up to you what you want to submit. We have an early action deadline of November 15th, and then we're rolling admission up through March 1st, which is our regular decision deadline. We are a test optional school. We have been for quite some time now. So for us, we have a very holistic review process. So your essay and your letter of recommendation that you will submit will be just as important to us as your grades. So we pay very close attention to all of that. So definitely put some effort there. Our average incoming GPA is around a 3.3. For those of you choosing to submit test scores, our average for our incoming class last year was around an 1150 SAT and about a 23 ACT. But again, it's optional for you to submit those. So moving forward, let's see, let's get into some Q&A. So all of our contact information is up here on the website, on the page. So make sure you take a screenshot of that. So you can contact us after this. And so for your questions, let's see what I've gotten in here. So one thing that I did get, and this is going to go over to you, Keith, but can students come in undecided to Florida Tech? Or do you have
yes, when it comes to Undecided, we do have a couple of different undecided tracks. You could do it for 1 year and 1 year only. Then you select the major that you want to go into. We do have general engineering. That's for if you're kind of interested in the general engineering side. There's general studies. That's kind of in the business, psychology, and aeronautics side. And then we have a general science if you're just unsure but kind of know what you're interested. Majority of the kids already know after their first semester what they're interested in. But like I said, you can do that program for 1 year and 1 year only.
Perfect. Another question that we get often is about hurricanes. So what, maybe all of us can kind of answer how we manage that, I guess up through the Carolinas and up the East Coast, they get them too, but what is everyone's policy around hurricanes? Brian, you want to start?
Yeah, I'm sure it's different for each of us because you all are a little closer to the coast than we are. So being more inland, we don't really have to worry as much about evacuation so much. We do, in certain situations we have in the past where we have had to evacuate students ahead of time. But yeah, I mean, living in Florida, you're used to it. Everyone is pretty well aware. And so we always know what to do when things are coming. So I'm sure I speak for you all, the other colleges as well. We all have plans in place and the administration does a good job of planning ahead. But again, ours is going to be a little different compared to you guys since you're a little closer to the coast, because I know a common thing with hurricanes is you more so hide from the wind but run from the water kind of thing. So it's the coastal areas where you want to, but again, I'll let you guys speak more to your specific schools.
Sure. So one of the first things you have to do when you arrive to campus is complete your hurricane preparedness plan. Just to give you a practical example, a few years ago, students had to evacuate for Hurricane Irma. On Tuesday at about noon, they sent out a text to the whole student body. And because of the tight-knit nature of the community, on Thursday at noon, every single student, including international students, had a place to go. As part of their preparedness plan, whether this was evacuating alongside their roommates or friends, or taking up some of the emergency housing that Eckerd has set aside in hotels or in places that are going to get less wet. So ultimately, it's always something we have to think about. But luckily, we have a really strong emergency preparedness plan. And as Brian mentioned, administration is really good at it. And luckily, there's not too much experience with evacuating.
Yeah, so at Florida Tech, when it comes to hurricanes, we do have meteorology here as a major, so our president's always getting briefed by them on a weekly and daily basis. If it is coming close, they're gonna probably close classes. Students usually leave sometimes. If they're not leaving, but we're evacuating the dorms or getting the students out of dorms, we'll transportate them to a local shelter in the area, but there's not a shelter on campus.
Yeah, and for us, we're about 3 miles from the beach, but we're on the other side of the interstate, on the inland side, I guess. So we're still far enough from the water in terms of not being in a flood zone necessarily, but our buildings are hurricane safe. So we have an entire evacuation plan if needed, but generally students will stay on campus. Last year when we were preparing for Hurricane Dorian, students were instructed to stay on campus. We actually had some students living off campus at another facility as well that had a restaurant attached to it, and the university made sure students could get food there if they couldn't get to campus. So we make sure that we can do whatever needs to happen in order to make sure our students are safe. So no worries there. Another question I got, Sam, this one's for you since you are a more recent graduate, but what is your favorite thing to eat on campus?
All right, so Eckerd has a couple different dining options. Two main cafeterias. Everyone loves the Starbucks, of course. My favorite option is what we call the pub. So it's a dining option that's open much later than all the other cafeterias. And my favorite thing to get was a Boca burger from the pub. Also exceptional French fries. And they have really good vegan ice cream from an Eckerd graduate who started a small business here in St. Pete. So all kinds of options all the time. And again, the Starbucks is never a letdown.
Perfect. Keith, Brian, do you have any interesting spots on campus that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I even though I was I graduated like 10 years ago, there's a new dining hall on campus, and it's definitely improved when I was a student. Actually, I still eat there every day as an employee. If COVID, we can't go, we can grab stuff and then leave. We can't sit down right now. But the sub cafeteria is currently under renovation right now, and they're bringing in outside chain vendors as well. So that's going to be a huge improvement to the campus. And we just got a Starbucks as well on campus for this school year. So that's an improvement.
Yeah, I'm actually a little similar to Keith. I graduated a little while ago. And since I've graduated, they've really expanded and added a lot of food options. I think we have 9 different places on campus now. We also have Starbucks. I feel like that's a necessity for college students. But we also have a Freshens smoothie cafe, which is a very popular stopping spot. We have a brick oven pizza place smack in the middle of campus. Which just the pizza is fantastic. We also just added last year a Steak and Shake, as well as a Boar's Head sub spot as well. So just like Keith again, it's gotten even better since I was there.
Awesome. Yeah, we have a new dining facility as of about 1.5 years ago now. So a brand new university center. So lots of dining options in there. One thing the students have told me quite frequently is, since we have so many different cultures from across the world, you can actually let them know of recipes that you want, or they'll cook different cuisines. So there's more international options. So I think that's kind of cool that you can kind of make those suggestions, and they'll whip them up at some point. So lots of food options across all of our campuses. Brian, this question is for you in regards to housing. You mentioned that you require students to live on campus for all 4 years. If a student has family in the area, are they allowed to live with family, or do they have to live on campus?
Yeah, technically the college's policy or their wording is students are required to live in campus housing unless they live with their parents or legal guardians less than 30 miles from campus. So students locally in Lakeland, again, less than 30 miles can live with their families, but students coming from further than that, we really require them to live on campus unless there's extenuating circumstances. But again, the first 2 years are in the main residence halls, but then your second 2 years are in the apartments. And we own the apartments, so they're still considered campus housing. So you're not signing a rent and paying lease and utilities, and you don't have to worry about all that. And the cost actually is the same. The apartments actually, it's not like we suddenly charge you $1,000 extra just to live in the apartments. They're the same as the residence halls, but it gives our upperclassmen that more independent style environment their last 2 years. So it's kind of nice though, because by making students live in campus, it again really cultivates a really strong campus community. There's always students around, students aren't coming to campus and then leaving at 4 o'clock and the campus dies after, for it. That's not really the case because there's so many students around, there's always stuff going on.
Awesome, perfect. So it looks like we're pretty much at time here. So I will wrap this up now. For any questions that weren't answered, we'll be sure to follow up with you after the session. But again, all of our contact information is right here for you. So please reach out to us. We want to get to know you and want to see your applications come in. So get on those if you're applying for fall 2021. But thank you, everyone. Thank you to my colleagues with me tonight. It was great sharing with you, sharing some time with you. And for those of you that have more questions about Florida, please feel free to ask us. But we hope to see you on campus soon. All of our campuses are offering visits right now. So please be sure to check our websites too with those visit links. we have virtual sessions going on as well as on-campus visit programming happening. So we want you to come visit us. So hopefully we will see you soon. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you so much. That will conclude this particular session. Once you close your window, there should be a 4-question survey that will appear. We encourage you to fill that out. In addition to that, feel free to take a look at the schedule, the full list of opportunities linked with the StriveScan CACRAO partnership at cacrao.org. And last but certainly not least, a recording of the session will be made available within this next week on the CACRAO website. Take care and have a wonderful evening.